Hi, good afternoon. My name is Lulu Freistadt. I'm a journalist and a documentary filmmaker. I have done freelance work with most of the networks, with ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox News Channel. So I work in television news as well as independently as a documentary filmmaker. I released a documentary in 2008 about the systemic problems of US elections that discourage participation. That film is called Holler Back, Not Voting in an American Town. I'm very familiar with the Campaign Finance Board, and I really congratulate on the work that you do to improve election integrity. I've been invited to submit an article to a statistical journal regarding the research that I've been doing about statistical analysis of the US elections. And as part of this work, I examined the statistical data on the New York City April 19th primary. The research has been verified by two separate analysts, and it has been confirmed to be accurate. The data indicates a pattern in the election returns that is concerning. It means that some of the results potentially do not represent the actual intent of the voters, either through error or possibly manipulation. Initial estimates indicate the results in Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island could be off by more than 10%. Because this type of analysis requires precinct-level data, we have so far only analyzed the 5 boroughs of Manhattan where precinct-level data was available. So we have not examined the data for the entire state, just the 5 boroughs in Manhattan. The data was shown to a former president of the American Statistical Association who said, "As a statistician, I find the results of the 2016 primary voting in New York unusual. In fact, I found the patterns unexpected, suspicious even. There is a greater deal of smoothness in the outcomes versus the roughness that is typical in raw, real data." And what he's saying by that, he's saying that he's not comfortable that the results look like an organic pattern of what you see when people vote. You know, one person votes one way, one person votes another way. When the results are incorrect, sometimes you see what looks like more of a mathematical pattern. It's important to be clear about what statistics can and can't do. Walter Mebane, a professor of statistics and political science at the University of Michigan, says, "Election forensics do not produce definitive proof of fraud, unlike direct observation of ballot box stuffing. Instead, the method produces probabilistic evidence of anomalies that are suggestive of fraud." So what he's saying there is that, you know, we're not talking about proof. We're saying these results are something that professional statisticians looking at have used words like suspicious, or they're uncomfortable with these results. If there is concern about the accuracy of the results, and there is, the best way to determine the actual intent of the voters is to manually count the ballots. And we're lucky because in New York we have paper ballots that we could manually count. And there is actually a petition in circulation, also on change.org, like your petition, that is requesting of the Attorney General and the Comptroller Scott Stringer to begin with a 10% manual recount that would be open to the public, open to the media, and supervised by a professional statistical expert. I encourage everybody to find that petition on change.org and sign it. It's under, if you search for New York hand recount, you'll find that petition. We live in an era where data is under constant attack. The IRS is fielding 1 million data attacks per day. I think it's really important to let that sink in. 1 million data attacks per day at the IRS. On May 4th, Attorney General Eric Schneiderman announced that his office has received over 40% increase, an over 40% increase in data breach notifications involving New Yorkers so far this year. That's as compared to last year, a 40% increase. And NPR reported that in February, hackers stole $81 million from the New York Federal Reserve. Now, if the New York Federal Reserve is not able to protect itself against hackers, it's hard to imagine that our little Board of Elections would not be vulnerable.
Do you have a lot more to go?
No, I'm almost done.
I think the point about the vulnerability of the system that you're trying to make is understood.
Yeah, great. I just want to say that previously in New York, we did have a really great law that required every race in every election to have a 3% manual recount. And for some reason, that law was changed last year to allow the recount to be done by machines, which defeats the purpose. It would be better if that law was changed back to mandate a manual recount of all the elections. Long term, we need to end the era where elections are administered by partisan officials. Elections need to be administered by technically proficient professionals who are well-versed in security and complex database management, and it would also be best to eliminate voting machines and move to hand-counted paper ballots. Thank you so much.
Thank you.